In case you're worried, we actually do have food at my house. But I feel like I have this same conversation with folks about SLOs and error budgets. We often focus a lot on service level objectives. I mean, that's the point of this conference, right? SLOconf. We talk about what metrics to use, how to measure them, how to continually push them higher. And we forget that error budgets are on the other side. Error budgets were initially intended as a way to balance reliability and innovation. Sometimes when pursuing new approaches or trying out a hunch, there's a huge opportunity for success, but also a little bit of risk of failure. Error budgets are intended to pay for that, not just to cover for unexpected outages. There's a difference between a budget and insurance. Budgets are meant to be spent. In the same way you shouldn't forgo buying food to save for an emergency, you shouldn't withhold spending your error budget. And unlike financial budgets, where unspent money can be saved, unspent error budgets disappear. So how should you spend your error budget? There are lots of ways to spend it. But here are 2 ways to not just spend your budget, but to invest it so you gain more reliability. The first way is to rip off the Band-Aid. You know that service or bit of code that nobody wants to acknowledge? It's been deprecated and everybody works around it. Nobody touches it because they're afraid it's propping up some critical part of the system. And pulling it out will bring everything crashing down. Pull it out. Do your due diligence and try to mitigate the issues you know will arise. But the reason everyone is seemingly okay with that ticking time bomb is they think there will be unaccounted issues, and that will cause downtime. And they're afraid of downtime. But this is what error budgets are meant for. This is what you pay for with your error budget. Do you remember the Log4Shell 0-day that happened just last year? The short version is there is a seriously bad security vulnerability in the Log4j logging framework. And that framework's used by like every Java app. So it's bad. But this stuff happens. And you just update your code to the latest version, which includes fixes that mitigate the issue. Except people didn't. The security company Qualys did some research 4 months after the announcement, and they found that over half of all apps still running vulnerable versions of Log4j were marked as deprecated. You can pay for downtime with your error budget, but you can't pay for security breaches or ransomware or the crypto mining that some hacker's doing with your error budget. So reduce your risk, remove those deprecated systems, and if they cause an incident, use your error budget to pay for it. The second way is to inject a bit of chaos. To a lot of people, that sounds really scary. To others, it sounds like mischievous fun. And to folks who actually practice it, it's enlightening. And of course, it's also fun. Chaos engineering is the practice of using intentional, controlled disruption to learn more about how our systems fail. It starts with a question: what would happen if? For example, what would happen if your database lost a primary node? You probably have some ideas of what would happen. Maybe it's that a replica node is promoted to become primary. Maybe it's that your monitoring tool will trigger an alert. Or maybe it's that your whole app crashes and you lose tons of data. Chaos engineering is the process of testing your assumptions by trying it out. That's the only way that you can really know what will happen. But you don't want to lose data, so start in a dev environment where it's safe. Then try it in staging before finally doing it in prod. Because we all know that staging is never exactly like prod, and you need to know what will really happen. But doing things in production will always carry some risk. What if things go wrong and you trigger an incident? That's what your error budget is for. So if you're thinking about setting SLOs, remember to leave yourself some error budget to spend. If you've already got SLOs, work to meet them. But don't be tempted to raise your SLOs. Don't deprive yourself of an error budget that you can spend to make things better.